The success of your goals depends on your will to achieve them. That will makes you worthy. When you have a goal and you set out for yourself to accomplish or achieve this goal, right? You have to back that goal with your will. You have to will yourself into that direction. You put a thought, you put your emotion behind it, and you're willing that into existence. You're putting your will into that. The fact that you have the will to do something, it makes you worthy of achieving that thing. So the success of your goals depends on your will to achieve them, and that will makes you worthy. Right? So we just have to stay strong, stay committed to what it is that we have in line, in store for ourselves. What it is that we have in line or in store for our future, for our present, for our right now. Right? I'm starting this off with this video because I want to move this video into this light of understand that, and I have it written up here. It is not what you do that elevates you spiritually, right? It is not what you do that elevates you in this realm or the next. It is what you stop doing, right? Success in everything is very simple. A lot of these things that we like to achieve is very simple, but there's a lot of excess that we need to chip off, that we need to cut away, that we need to get rid of. A lot of bad habits that we need to get rid of. Right? So a lot of the times we are being guided toward the successful habits, the successful things, right? The successful routines. But we have a whole bunch of bad habits that are pulling us down, inconstancy or things that distract us. Things that make us not get up out of bed at the right time. Things that make us not get into bed at the right time. So many different things that attack your everyday life that we just need to get rid of. It doesn't need to stay around. Cut it out of your life. Then you'll see the simple road to the success in your field, to the success in your goal. You'll be able to see the process necessary clearly, right? Because it is the process that you take to reach your goal that will truly get you the progress. If we continue to look at our goals and to just hope and dream about our goals, but don't put together the process of achievement. We have to put together the process of achievement, the structure, the system. A system has things that are composed of certain do's and don't do's. And so we understand moving into the goals that we set out for ourselves, moving into these things that we're getting ready to achieve. We understand what the do's are, but we don't know what the don't do's are. We don't know what the stop doing is. We don't know what the watch out for this, be mindful for this, be mindful for that. Everything comes in as a wave and it gets overwhelming because we're overwhelmed with the bad habit, with the good habit. We don't know which habit to look forward, to look after. We don't know what we're doing is good. We don't know what we're doing is bad. We don't know what we're doing is efficient and what we're doing is inefficient. And so your will is really directing you to the efficient path. What is going to elevate you is going to be when you stop doing those inefficient things, when you stop following into those inefficient habits, right? I had this bad habit. I wake up in the morning, 7 o'clock, right? 7:05. And I think, man, I'm still tired. Let me put on a 30-minute timer and wake up, sleep 30 more minutes. And that was a bad habit I started getting into. The bad habit of waking up, turning off my alarm clock, and then just scrolling on YouTube Shorts for a little bit. That's a bad habit I started getting into. Waking up and deciding I don't feel like stretching. I don't feel like meditating. And just getting and going around doing other things. That's a bad habit I started getting into. But I'm realizing that these things that you allow to fall off, these bad habits that you allow to grow, are going to start growing into more difficult things to deal with. something way more difficult to deal with than if you just nip it in the bud right there. For example, if I bring down dishes or plates of food and I eat down here in my studio, right, and then I just don't take my plates up to the dishwasher, and then the next day I come down and I eat, and then I don't do the same thing. Instead of eat and then take my plates to the dishwasher, eat and then take my plates to the dishwasher, I let it pile up over time, and then it starts to be now I may have a couple days, 2-3 days of coffee mugs and glasses and dishes, and I gotta take multiple trips to finally get this out. And it's the same thing with any other habit or with dealing with any other bad, inefficient characteristic, inefficient trait within ourselves. We got to be real with ourselves. Sincerity with yourself. When you're rooted within your heart, when you're rooted within the way that you feel, when you're rooted within the way that you are, when you know what your good traits and your bad traits are, when you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and you know that you gotta nip this stuff in the bud. You gotta be the best that you can be for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your work. There is no open ends, no allowing these negative, inefficient habits to get in the way. Why are we treating ourselves this way? We get deserving rest. We get deserving sustenance. We get deserving everything. Take the rest that you deserve. Don't let it get wild. Don't overindulge. Eat the food that you deserve, that you need. Don't overeat. Why we think gluttony is a sin? Why we think greed is a sin? Why we think all of the sloth is a sin? Because it's excess in those things. Stay on top of your game, right? That excess is what we gotta clip up out of our lives. It can't stay around no longer. Get rid of it. Get gone. It's done. Out of here. Cast it out. It needs to be thrown out. You don't need it no more. Because it's doing you a big disservice. I watched this Hamster video and he was talking about sugar. He said, sugar is a drug and you are a crackhead. Food is a drug. Food is a drug. Food is an addiction. When I went on that eat once a day fast, I realized how much of a drug food really is. I realized how much of a drug in between snacks really are. We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we want to have these sweet, salty snacks in between to just continue to make our body just continue and work and overwork and overload and overwork. The way that we eat is gluttonous. And I'm talking straight to myself too. This is to me. I'm just broadcasting it on YouTube for y'all. But everything that I'm talking about is a lesson that I've had to learn. A lesson that I wish someone spoke to me like this 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I wish. I probably wouldn't have even listened. But it is important that we care for ourselves, in such a way that we respect ourselves in such a way, we love ourselves in such a way that we don't allow this to become an excess. Because when it becomes an excess, it's the wilderness. We got to get up in that wilderness. What is it that we're allowing to overgrow? What emotions are overgrowing? What inefficient habits are overgrowing? Right? Self-work is like taking care of a botanical garden. You got to trim the hedges. You got to trim this up. You cutting the edges over here. You got to get everything clean and cut. If you leave it uncared for too long, it will overgrow. You got to keep it within some kind of boundary. You have to circle it within the bounds of righteousness. Don't let it get out of bounds. We get into the excess of things. We get into the love of those things that end up being harmful to us. Good things really cease to be good in our enjoyment of them. Good things cease to be good in our enjoyment of them. And then we get tired of it. We get tired of it. We get exhausted of it. And now we want something new. We want something better. We think that what we have right now is not good enough. Right? But we don't know the problem that comes with that new thing. We don't know the evil that's not yet with us. You know the problems of everything that you have right now. You know the solutions of everything that you have right now. But instead of trying to take care of what we have right now, we're looking outside of ourselves for the next good thing, for the next bit of good that we can just milk the cow of until we're tired of that good too. Now we want to move on to the next thing. The only circumstance in which we can't settle ourselves, the only circumstance that we find ourselves in that we can't take hold of. It's a lot in this. I'm talking about a lot, and I'm talking about. It's really one subject, but there's so many different parts to it. But I hope that this message has gotten to somebody today, and I appreciate you coming by. Peace.